Greetings, everybody. Welcome. Post Ian. Hopefully everyone is high and dry today. And if you lost power, I hope it's back by now. If you lost internet, you're not alone. But hopefully everything is going well and we are in recovery mode. In the meantime, we are entering week 7, so it is important to go ahead and proceed. Several individual questions about late fees or if I'm going to move deadlines or whatever with the storm. I am not moving any deadlines, but I'm also not counting things late from last week. So if you were running behind from last week or you're still running behind, that's absolutely fine. You don't need special permission. Just turn in the work as soon as you possibly can and proceed. Okay, so let's take a look at where we are and where we're going. Get this open. All right. Okay, for some reason I'm in my YouTube. There we go. Now we're back in normal speed here. We are in week 7. So let's go ahead and take a look. There's not much new to go over this week, so I'm just going to kind of remind everybody of where we are. Last week, we started with the technical pieces. There's 3 assignments that you're going to do and eventually redo that are technical writing specific. One is a definition, which is what was due last week. This week's is called a technical description, and then we have one more, which is a set of instructions. Now, you have pretty much carte blanche as far as what you want to pick for your topics. But last week, I talked a lot about how all 3 of these documents can conceivably either become part of or certainly help you create your formal analytical report, which is what's coming up in week 9. So choose your topics carefully because these can all work together. Now, if you wanted to do separate topics for each of these 3 technical pieces, you certainly are welcome to do that. But you don't need to do double work. So you certainly can take a look ahead. And I did that in last week's video. I'm not going to do that again this week. If you want to go back and review it, I would highly suggest that you do. I was really sad last week when I noticed that only 3 people had watched the video at that time when I checked. So if you are not using these videos, please do. They're still there. They're in the announcements. You can watch them anytime. But it's really important as part of the learning process. These are part of your learning materials, just like the stuff that's in the Canvas shell in here under the learning materials. Now, for weeks 6, 7, and 8, the learning materials are pretty much the same. There's some variation as far as like what you're doing, but it really is kind of the same information. So no new reading assignments, but you may go back and review. You may need to go back and review. And certainly you may want to go back and review the sample documents specifically for what descriptions look like, because that's what you're working on this week. Okay. So again, I'm not going to go over them again. We talked about them last time, but now it's time to do the actual assignment for this week, which is the, oops, where did I go? Here we go, is the technical description. So you're going to create a document describing an important artifact related to your field of choice. This might be something tangible like a piece of equipment, or it might be more theoretical like a key concept. Remember, you have the ability to choose from any area that interests you. What you may want to focus on what you plan to study beyond like Sumter or what you want to do for a career, but it really could be anything that you want in terms of topics. So for reminders and ideas about topics, there's a link to that page where I went over, which I went over last week, which is the technical writing topic instruction page. Again, I'm not going to go over it this week because I went over it last week. So if you did not view the weekly walkthrough from last week, please go back and do it. I just don't want to repeat myself. what is required? It has to be APA formatted and documentation of any sources. You need to have at least 2 visuals. Those need to be captioned and properly sorted or properly cited, and then sufficient development to cover your topics. None of these 3 technical pieces is likely to be super long, but it needs to be as long as it needs to be. Okay, so that's kind of a vague way of putting it, but it is the case. So remember, of course, you're going to be revising this document for the final portfolio. So same thing we've seen before, the 25 points, and you'll turn it in just like you have been. So I think everybody's pretty good at that by now. We've kind of gotten our stuff down there. So that's it. That's really all that I need to go over today. If you have not watched the last video though, please go back and do that. Okay, everybody take care. Have a great week. And again, I hope everybody's doing well.